What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the local meta report here in St. Louis, Missouri. I, of course, am Brad, aka the mayor of Lorcana and co-host of the Rules of Villainy podcast. I'm so excited to be back. The Attack of the Vine is out now. We're a couple weeks in. We had a really great pre-release weekend, and now we are brewing our core constructed decks, and I got a variety of them to share with you today from all of our locals, our weekly locals. Love to celebrate them. This is a video series where each and every week I bring you the winningest decks here in St. Louis and hope to inspire and celebrate our great community here. Before I get into those 4 decks that we have for you this week, I do want to do a little bit of housekeeping. I have some announcements to make. I'm really excited about it. The first one being the Rules of Villainy competitive team is going to be on the ICL this season, and we're so excited to be there. The ICL, if you are unaware, is the Illuminaires Championship League that is hosted by Luke Wonderland himself and Rod from Impact TCG, and I'm going to have a link in the description for you guys to check that out. We are going to be playing, I think, every other week. We'll figure that all out. All the details will come to you if you are a fan of the podcast or just the Rules and Villainy brand at all. Check out our socials. We'll be pumping that out. We're so excited to be participating in that. On top of that, we have our own 5K coming up here in St. Louis, the greater St. Louis area, actually Fairview Heights, the other side of the river over in Illinois at Impact Gaming Center, not to be confused with Impact TCG that I just mentioned. We have our own Impact over here in the Midwest, and they are hosting a 5K in October, the weekend of October 10th. We're going to have a 5K. We're going to have a second chance 1K on Sunday. It is going to be exciting. We're calling it the Black Cauldron Cup. We cannot wait to put that on. We cannot wait to stream that for you here on the Rules of Villainy channel, as well as the Impact Gaming Center Twitch channel. Registration for that, if you are local or willing to travel, is going to open up August 10th on the Impact Gaming Center website. There will be a link for that in the description below. Definitely bookmark that and come check that out. Whether you're playing in it or viewing it remotely, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we cannot wait to put that on. And yeah, so that was a mouthful, but excited to bring all that to you. Right now, I am very excited to bring you these 4 decks that won this week in St. Louis. Let's get into it. All right, our very first deck of the night by way of Dylan out at the Collector Store on Tuesday night, going 3-0 with Emerald Amber Control. And if you have been paying any attention to the meta game at all since the drop of Attack of the Vine, you'll know that our friend Brennan DeCandio, a developer over at Ravensburger, dropped a Kevin Control deck, which is the same colors, but circles entirely around a single character in the deck. That is the new Kevin from the movie Up. You don't see Kevin in this deck. This is a homebrew from Dylan. He spiced it up a bit, but it is the same principle of the deck that Brennan put together, and that is to make your life miserable. What that means is you see the lack of characters in the deck. We have a total of 7 here, which is more than what DeCandio had in his original shell. But we know the game as being a way of you get lore by questing. You get to 20 by questing your characters. However, this deck takes a different route. This deck is looking for items like Buzz's Arm to make all of your actions cost less. It is looking for items like your adventure book to come out and basically draw you a free card every turn by paying 1 ink. You reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a non-character card or a character card named Kevin, put it into your hand. Being as how that 53 cards in this deck are not characters, then you're going to draw a card basically every time. And what this deck does is you can build your board as the opponent to this deck as much as you want. It is going to build itself up to Raging Storm and wipe your board and then lock you out of playing anything else. Or you can play whatever you want, but it's probably going to go away immediately. We do see some spice in here. I don't think Piercing Attack Piercing Attack is one that does stick around in these decks I've seen. It is a new card from Attack of the Vine. Deal 2 damage to any chosen character, and it cannot be resisted. We also have cards like Strange Things, which is a 4-cost inkable song. This allows you to choose 2 characters that can't quest until the start of your next turn and draw a card. So that's another way to lock them down. On top of that, you have the Family Scattered, which I think is super spicy because this is an 8-cost uninkable action. The only way to play this is to play 8 ink, or if you have a bunch of Buzz's arms, you can play it significantly cheaper. And what this does is chosen opponent chooses 3 of their cards and returns one of those cards to their hand, puts one at the bottom of their deck, and puts one on the top of their deck. So it's just a 3 removal if you can't find that big board wipe from Raging Storm, and if you want to preserve some characters on your board at the time. Family Scattered comes out and chooses to allow you to keep your characters while they have to get rid of 3 of theirs. It's absolutely insane. It's miserable to play against. I told this story on the Discord where Andy was playing the Kevin version of this on Thursday night, and it was round 1, and I was miserable playing him. I got 0-2'd by him on my Amethyst Steel Dwarfs, and then at the end of the night, I was rooting for him in round 3 because he was down 19-1 and almost pulled off the comeback, and it was exciting to watch. But man, is it terrible to sit across from. But mad respect to the fact that this deck can exist, and we have pilots like Dylan finding his way to 3-0 with it on League Night, even though you might be a sociopath. No, I'm joking. Congrats on doing it with this deck. Congratulations on your what's the word I'm looking for? Qualification, as you are now back in the game and practicing for the North American Continental Championships. Best of luck to you. I know that's coming up in not long, just a few short weeks, and wishing you the best. I don't know if this is what you're choosing, but it sounds like you're already off to a great start at the beginning of this set, and want to wish you the best. So that's that. Let's move on to the next deck. And that deck comes to you by way of Rules of Villaini's own Steven, Captain Inkswell himself, getting it done at Manicore Game Shop, 3-0 with his favorite color pairing, Ruby Amethyst. And he calls this deck They Are Super, because you'll notice there are a lot of superheroes in this deck, and don't expect anything less of Steven with this color pairing. I don't know that I've actually ever seen him play another color pairing. I guess Sapphire Amber recently, he was toying around with that, but he has found so much consistency with this, and a great example of when you need somebody to teach you play lines of a color pairing, I would look to Steven immediately. What we are looking at here is not a lot different than what we saw him ending the last season with, or the last set. I guess that's considered a season. But the one new card here from Attack of the Vine is the current villain of the week on the Rules of Villainy podcast, and that is the Peter Pan and Tinkerbell 6-cost inkable 5/4 team card that is a shift 4. He can shift on either Peter Pan or Tinkerbell, quest for 2, and give every single one of your other characters, well, all characters, including themselves, evasive. And what that does is just opens the door to a lot of protection if they don't have evasive answers. It also simultaneously opens the door for a lot of card draw if you have the ink to do it and you have Dumbo on board. If every single one of your cards on board can just turn sideways for 1 ink and draw you a card, that seems pretty good. What I don't find great in the is the current meta, as you'll see in this video, there's no Sapphire in there, and Sapphire's primary thing of way of removing cards is by inking the things that you have on your board, giving you a little bit of extra ramp at a cost of removing it. Ruby Amethyst might not have a lot of extra ink to do that, so it does prove to be a big combo to get that Peter Pan out there and that Dumbo, assuming that nobody is dealing with your cards in the meantime. But this deck has all the tools it needs to control the board itself. One other spicy card that it has in here is the White Rabbit's Pocket Watch, all the way from set 1 and reprinted in Fabled. This is a card that, when exerted and paying 1 ink, chosen character gains rush this turn. So you could do that with your unshifted Mr. Incredible, for example, who comes out with the strength of however many characters you have on board, in addition to his 6 strength already, and will draw you a card for every super that challenges on your turn. So I think, lots of card draw in here, lots of options, and no surprise here that Steven found success going 3-0. He did tell me he had to beat his son to get there, which I think is good, because Link needs to be put in his place once in a while. A kid's too good at this game. But all jokes aside, a lot of fun stuff in here. Louisa Madrigal shift to move some damage around, along with 4 of the Cheshire Cat, and then what else is spicy? The Frozone. I'm happy to see Frozone getting some play. Two of those 6-cost inkable 6/4 or uninkable quest for 2 with rush. And when you play this character, you have any other super character in play, you may exert chosen opposing character to ensure that this 6/4 can absolutely run into something, because you most likely have another super out there. One other card that I'd be remiss not to mention is the return of Be King Undisputed. I absolutely love that card because Be Prepared is the best song in the Disney universe, and I will take no questions on that. So congratulations to Steven. Let's move on to the third deck of the week. And that deck comes to you by way of ROV Kirsten at Bodax Games on Thursday night, going 3-0 with her specialty in Amber Steelsong, baby. Steelsong is back, and back in a big way, and there's not a better pilot in the area running Steelsong than Kirsten, and she made it known Thursday night at Bodax, making quick work out of all three of us in her matches. And one problematic card in here, there's a lot of them, but let's go through the list here. At the 1-drop, we have the Stitch or Angel if she is on the draw. 2 drops, we got the Vanessa, Mowgli, and the new support Lilo. She's a 2/3 quest for 1 with support. And what she's looking for on 3 is the Malin Lee if she's looking for a song, or another red panda, which is basically just herself. She can find herself or a song to set up a bunch of removal depending on what she is facing, which in my case it was against Amethyst Steel Dwarfs. And even if I cheated out my 7/7 Grumpy on turn 3, she could just dispatch it really quickly with the world's greatest criminal mind that Vanessa can sing after being played on 2. It's a lot of fun. And not only that, but of course we have the new Gaston, the 5-cost inkable 3/4 the quest for 1 that can banish a character with 5 strength or more. And if you don't have anything with 5 strength or more on the board, you think you're safe? Nah, we have the Lilo that I just talked about, giving support to anything on either side of the board to manipulate some of that removal. And speaking of Lilo and Stitch, the new big problem in Amber Steel right now is the Lilo and Stitch team-up card. The Fun-Loving Friends is a 5-cost inkable 3/5 that can shift for 3 on either Lilo or Stitch, and it quests for 3. It has resist +1, and it also has support to activate even more Gaston and World's Greatest Criminal Mind shenanigans. On top of that, if you want to get that Gaston out on 3, I failed to mention, because he is a 5-cost, we have a Kood Etamuti in here as well that Angel Vanessa can sing as well. So it's really hard. If you can't get around the early songs and removal from Amber Steel, there is not a lot you can do. Ariel, of course, is in there to find songs, or at least draw a card when a song is played. Angel is out there to discard cards and hit you for 2 every turn if they have the card ammo available to do that. Just a mean deck, and not as mean as Kevin Control. It is all revolved around the song mechanics of the game, and it does it very, very well. One other card here from Attack of the Vine that Kirsten is running here is the 2-cost inkable Action Look What You've Done, featuring Mother Gothel there in the art, holding some vines there. And what that does is deal 2 damage to chosen character, and during your turn, when you discard this card, you may play it from your discard, but you still pay all costs. So if you had an Angel in play and you discarded this card, you can shoot somebody with Angel Snowball and then pay 2 ink to do another 2 damage to them from this card. Just a sick combo there. But yeah, Amber Steel looking really, really good this set. A lot of tools here to find and play the songs, and just quest to 20. Was not fun to sit against. I had a really bad night that night, but Kirsten's a great player, great sport, and we love her here. So congratulations to Kirsten on Amber Steel getting it done, and happy. I'm actually happy to see Steelsong kind of back. This Malin Lee is the new fish lady, as our friend Kristen would call her, and yeah, it's fun. I might venture over that path and play around with it for a while, but yeah, congratulations to Kirsten. Let's talk about one more deck here. All right, our final deck of the week comes to you by way of Justin over at the Collector Store on Friday night, going 3-0. And I believe, if I understood him correctly, 3-0 on Tuesday's league at Collector as well. Feel free to correct me in the comments, Justin, if that is the case. But he said both. Ruby, Amber, Sulley is what he calls this deck, and that is because it centers around the new Sulley cards in Attack of the Vine, starting with the 5-cost uninkable Sulley, the new boss. He is a 4/4 bodyguard, and when you play this character, you may return a character card from your discard to your hand, and that can be any character in the discard. And what that pairs with nicely, and a very annoying card to deal with, is the Shift, Sulley, and Boo team. The Scare Buddies, that is a 6-cost inkable 6/5 that shifts for 4 in a combo shift. That means you can pay 4 ink to place this on top of characters named Sulley, one named Boo, or one of each. And one of each doesn't come into play in this deck, and we can talk about that another time. But what it does do is it shifts on Sulley, and when this card is banished, if any of the cards under them are character cards, which would be Sulley or Boo, you may play those characters from your discard for free, and that reactivates the 5-cost new boss Sulley to pull back any card from the discard. And why wouldn't you pull the shift card? So this card is just going to continue to regurgitate itself and be a menace. And he hits for 6 every time. So if you're trying to deal with it in a challenging way, you're going to lose things as you're doing it. And guess what? You are doing it knowing that those cards are just going to come back most likely. Lots of fun there. Can't wait to be up against that all season. But I'm also interested in playing that. I do really like that combo, but it is a pain to deal with. Let's talk about some of the rest of the cards, though. This looks a lot like the Boosty Boys deck that we know and love for the last couple sets. He is running a Spice card in the new Copper. Not new. Copper's been here for a couple sets now. He is Copper on the Scent. He's a 6-cost Maui, basically, except he's beefier. This Basset Hound is beefier than Maui. He is an 8/5 with Rush and Reckless, so he comes out swinging really hard. Of course, we got the Gaston, 4 of those, 1 of World's Greatest Criminal Mind, and 3 pumpkins in the Horseman Strike. So all the tools that I talked about earlier in regards to the Peter Pan when he's facing up against Amethyst Ruby. Some other cards in here. We got Augustin for support. He is a 4-cost 3/6 that gives support, so that activates again Gaston and World's Greatest Criminal Mind if you elect to shoot that support across the board. Ohana Means Family is a great way to draw cards when you have characters with 5 willpower or more. Even the Scrooge McDuck, who can get a ton of willpower every turn if you keep boosting him. As long as it can hold damage, Ohana Means Family can heal all of that damage, and you draw a card for every single one of those. One other card that I think is going to be a really big problem this set is Red Alert. It is Medusa on a body, 2 cost less, and inkable at a 4-cost inkable action. Banish chosen character with 3 strength or less. If you have a monster card in play, chosen opponent loses 1 lore. And as we can see here, he is running, looks like only 5 monsters total in Sulley and the shift, but still seems like a really good deck. We're going to be seeing a lot of Ruby Amber throughout the set, and not just this version of it. There are multiple versions of it, which is really exciting. You could be playing against Toys, you could be playing against this, you could be playing against some monstrosity that I made, but ultimately there's a songs version, I think, too, that is kind of picking up steam here. But Justin got it done with this one, and congratulations to him. That's going to do it. That's going to wrap up this week's Local Meta Report, the very first of the Attack of the Vine set here in St. Louis, Missouri. Congratulations to all 4 of you finding your 3-0s on the week at your locals. Thank you for supporting your local stores and keeping this game fresh, and doing so with a variety of decks. We don't have just one deck dominating everything. We are finding success with multiple different color pairings, and it is still very early in the meta. Who knows what it's going to be come Continentals time and set championship time, which is going to be here before you know it. It seems like it comes up so quick when we're having so much fun playing this game. So shout out to everybody who shared their decks. Congratulations once again for allowing me to celebrate you, because that is what this video series is for. Thank you to everybody else who tuned in to check this out. Hope you were inspired in some way, learned something, or have any comments about anything that I have said, probably poorly in some cases, please comment down below. Let's start a discussion about this, because I love talking about this game and bringing you this kind of content. If you like this kind of content and from anything from Rules of Villainy, please like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you can see this every week. You can see the podcast proper. You can see Deck Test Tuesday every Tuesday night, though that might interfere with the ICL that we're now a part of, which we will be promoting throughout these videos as well. So hope you definitely check those out as well. And as a reminder, check the description for the 5K that we are hosting, the Black Cauldron Cup with Impact Gaming Center in October. Cannot wait to bring that to you. But all of that being said, I have some legislation to write. And what I mean by that is I have some decks to build. So until next time, happy questing.